Chapter 8. Partners in time. The French Quarter pulsed with the afterglow of the night's parades, its streets littered with beads and broken masks. On a quiet corner of Chartres Street, a café glowed softly, its windows steamed from chicory coffee and the breath of late-night patrons. Inside, Julien Dubois sat at a corner table, his fedora pushed back, his scar catching the lamplight. The Crescent Moon murders, Henri Levine and Edgar Thibodeau, both masked, both elite, gnawed at him, their killer a shadow slipping through Mardi Gras chaos. Clara's warning about the order and Vincent Devereaux's name loomed large, but Julien needed more than whispers. He needed evidence. The café door swung open, and Celeste Moreau strode in, her auburn hair loose under her cloche hat, her green eyes sharp with purpose. She carried a manila envelope, her coat dusted with confetti from the parades. Julien's jaw tightened. She'd been at every turn of this case, a journalist with a nose for trouble and a knack for getting under his skin. He didn't trust her, but he couldn't ignore her either. "Detective," she said, sliding into the chair opposite him without invitation. "You look like you need a partner more than a coffee." Julien sipped his drink, black and bitter. "What I need, Miss Moreau, is for you to stop poking into my case before you get hurt." Celeste smirked, undeterred, and opened the envelope, sliding a photograph across the table. It was a grainy image from the crew of Comus Ball, a sea of masked faces in tuxedos and gowns. "Recognize anyone?" she asked, tapping the photo. Henri Levine, Edgar Thibodeau, Vincent Devereaux, all in one frame, all smiling like they own the city. They did, until someone started carving them up. Julien's eyes narrowed, studying the photo. Levine's jowly face was unmistakable, Thibodeau's stern profile beside him. Devereaux stood at the edge, his domino mask not quite hiding his predatory smile. The guest list, scrawled on the photo's back, confirmed their presence, along with Clara Beaumont and others Julien didn't know. Celeste had done her homework, and it burned him to admit she'd found something he hadn't. "Where'd you get this?" he asked, his voice low. "A society matron who loves her gin and gossip," Celeste said, leaning forward. "The ball was a who's who of New Orleans elite, and I'm betting it's where the killer picked their targets. There's another masked ball tomorrow night, at the LeBlanc mansion. Devereaux's hosting. You want answers, that's where you'll find them." Julien lit a cigarette, the match flaring in the dim café. She was right, but he didn't like it. Working with a journalist meant leaks, headlines, chaos. Yet her lead was solid, and he was running out of time. "You're not a cop, Celeste. You go in there, you're a lamb among wolves." She tucked the photo back into the envelope, her amulet glinting at her throat. "I'm no lamb, detective. I'm going with or without you. Question is, are you smart enough to come along?" Julien exhaled smoke, his scar itching. She was reckless, infuriating, but she'd connected dots he'd missed. Alone, he'd be a cop in a den of elites. With her, he'd have cover, a way to blend in. "Fine," he said, his voice grudging. "We go together. You follow my lead, no stunts, no headlines until I say so. Deal?" Celeste's smile was a victory. "Deal. We're something nice, detective. We're crashing the party of the year." As she left, the café's phonograph spun a slow jazz tune, its notes heavy with foreboding. Julien crushed his cigarette, the photos' faces burned into his mind. The LeBlanc ball was a gamble, but it was his best shot at the order, and the killer hiding in their ranks.